I should be like you, Mel.
Ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the TalkSport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search TalkSport Fan Network.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, Cherries fans from around the world, wherever you're watching this morning. Welcome back to Tuesday morning edition of Cherry AM. After you've seen mine and Malcolm's face probably numerous times in the last 24 hours with Cherry Slaps and Cherry AM yesterday. Welcome, Malcolm Chiverton. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning, Ollie. Good morning, everybody in the chat. Yeah, all good, all good. Thoroughly enjoyed the show yesterday evening. Really interesting, and having Rich on as well from Eagle Eye. That was, really good insight, and finally get to speak with somebody who's obviously from the opposition and their take on it. Yeah, really cool guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for anyone who didn't watch the show, please do go back and watch last night's Cherry Slaps with Rich from Eagle Eyed Football, Crystal Palace fan. Brilliant show last night. Fantastic back and forth, and some good rundowns of the game, to be honest. So,
yep.
Please watch this space for next week. Obviously, we've got Nottingham Forest on Sunday at 2:00 kickoff, I believe.
Yes.
So
yes.
that will be. Well, me and Malcolm will be watching it live. So I think on next Monday, you'll have a much more accurate view of every moment that happened, won't you?
Yeah, should be really interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, completely agree. Just quickly hit the comments in the chat. Darren Hurst, hi, Ollie and Malcolm, and all in the chat on my daily site walk, and it's 20 degrees. Some cloud over here, some cloud cover here and there with mostly blue skies. Now bring on my daily Cherries fix. Morning
Darren.
David DeCosta, morning all. A nice spring day, 20 degrees and sun. Cloud up the Cherries.
Morning, David.
Chris Hubble, morning, Ollie and Mal. Morning, Chris.
Morning, Chris.
And Paul Stantz, good morning, everyone. Morning, Paul.
Yeah, good to see you guys. Morning, Paul.
Yeah, absolutely. Malcolm, please kick us off with what we will be discussing first on this morning's show.
Right, you can take a pick of what you want to talk about today. Should we start with Ines Unal?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, he's had some minutes with the academy, wasn't it? So good to see him back on the pitch, kicking a ball around as well. Wait and see how long it'll take before he can actually get into the starting lineup. Obviously, it'll be, I think the goal's got to be on the bench at some point. Just wish him success, really, because it's been a long time for him.
Yeah, and it looks like he's progressing well. Obviously, as you said, played 45 minutes for the development squad as part of his rehab, which is quite a big step forward, really. It's not cementing him back in the first team training. Most sources still say he's about 2 weeks away from rejoining that full training. But as we mentioned previously, I think it was last week, it is still looking around the 22nd of November.
Yeah. Yeah, we can't add much more to that, really. Like I said, it has been a long time out, and I think it's also, the thing in the head as well for him. We know from previous players that have had these long-term injuries and what a struggle it is to get back, and the mindset has to be right. Yeah, psychologically, yeah, pretty tough.
Yeah.
You wanted a point, make a point on Droopy.
Yes.
So I'm going to feed it over to you now and let you have your say about his performance.
Yeah. There's quite a lot to say on it, really. I think he deserved the start for sure. I think, as you said, and quite rightly summed up on last night's Cherry Slaps show, him getting to this stage has earned him that start in the first team, and then coming on and I mean, I watched the goals back again last night after our Cherry Slaps show. They were both quality goals. They were both quality goals. The first one with the cross with the header on the back post, and then the cross from Semenyo on the left-hand side, where it's touched in the box, and then he's just in the right place both times perfectly.
Yeah.
I just think it's really important to use these players that are trying to stand out. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Evan Nilsson. Don't get me wrong, NSU now coming back into the squad is also super exciting. He had a fantastic free kick. He had a couple of really good minutes on the pitch when we first had him. So exciting prospect to be looking at. But Krupi is, from that performance for me, he's looking like our best striker. I have to throw it out there. I know he's only 19. I know we've got Evan Nilsson. I know there's a ton still to go. But Krupi looks like a future Bournemouth striker for the next couple of years. Until he gets picked up, probably. He's going to be one of our players that increases how much he's worth, I reckon, season on season. But this season, this will be the making of him. And I think it's fantastic. And I'm really excited to see what happens from it as well.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm not going to look too far down the line. Take each game as it comes, I generally do.
Sure.
Obviously, I think he's going to start on Sunday. But we'll talk about Sunday on Thursday. Yep.
Yes. We will.
But I think, he's done himself no harm, has he? It's not just the goals. He was one of the standout players. Not obviously, but put in a really good performance, and kudos to him, really. For me, it just confirmed, what I said. He'd earned that start. Absolutely thrilled for him. Totally excited to see what else we can see from him.
Yeah.
And it's also nice to have somebody else in the team who knows where the goal is.
Yeah, exactly. And isn't afraid to be attacking it 24/7.
That's right. Potential, well, you can judge for yourselves, really. But I think if he continues to play the way he's playing, obviously he will have opportunities, maybe, during 90 minutes to have shots on goal or whatever, or even assists, because he can do that too. Who knows? He could be the first choice striker.
Well, I was about to say, obviously, with him being the next potential breakout for us, I mean, how much should that mean he should play going forward? I mean, we have these conversations all the time, right, about Andoni managing minutes, not wanting people to overexhaust themselves or over fatigue themselves. Is he going to start at Forest, or is that the kind of explosive performance where Iraola now goes, if we've got someone else that can play there, then we'll put them there. But for now, it'll be Krupi. Will Krupi then get immediately taken back out once Ennis or Ever is back in?
I think you have to obviously wait up on that. Andoni and the coaching staff, they know what he's about. see what his performance levels are like, and maybe they'll continue and just put Ever on the bench. That is a very strong possibility. But it certainly won't do his confidence any harm the way he started. Just super excited, really am.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Liam Humby says, good morning, everyone up the Cherries. Great cherry slaps last night. Thanks, Liam.
Good morning, Liam.
Dan Short, morning, Ollie and Malcolm. 12 degrees in Poole. Any idea what Ever has done?
Morning, Dan. Calf injury, isn't it? Muscle?
Not sure. Yeah, not sure.
Yeah.
I'll give you an update on that, Dan. Paul Sants, who would everyone start? Evan Nilsson, Krupi, or Mateta if he played for us? Be tough to say, wouldn't it? I guess out of those three that you said there, Paul, Mateta would be an interesting one. I don't think he'd fit into our squad particularly. I'm not sure. At the moment, Krupi. For me, against Forest at home, on home turf, Krupi starts on Sunday. But
he will. For me, he will do anyway because we've got no Ever.
Exactly. Yeah. Moving forward, not 100% sure. I think it depends who we're playing, who else we have on the pitch. It could differ from game to game, right? That's Liam Humby again. Sean Dyche is looking likely to be the Forest manager, according to SSN. What do you think about that, Sean Dyche going and taking over? I mean, I don't really rate him too much as a manager, and he's not really done incredible things, has he?
He can steady the ship a bit. His style isn't my cup of tea at all. I think it'll just be a stopgap, maybe to the end of the season. From what I read yesterday evening, it was the discussions were about the length of contract. So that's why nothing has been posted up as confirmation or anything today. But yeah, watch this space. It could happen today.
Yeah, absolutely. David DaCosta, Krupi, a very raw talent. Watch this space.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Dan Short says, haven't we got any more strikers available?
I don't think we have.
Don't think so.
But the question there, do we need them?
That's a good question.
We got players that are adaptable.
Yes, and we've got strategy and tactics, I guess, and the formation that would allow us to push forward into the final third without clinical strikers, I guess, right? If we didn't have Evan Nilsson or Krupi or a striker on the pitch, we've still got Adams, who pops a shot every now and then and did get his first goal for the Premier League recently. Tav fires a few shots off. Semenyo continues to fire shots off. I mean, Adley wants to get his first goal. I mean, Diakite on every single corner and free kick is in the middle of that box. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Brooksy when he comes back. All of these players are, not goal scorers necessarily, as we'd see a goal scorer, but crikey, they'll be in there and they'll be getting involved if we haven't got a striker on the pitch.
It's the beauty this season.
Yeah.
And we said at the start, I know that people in the chat have said, about Ever's lack of goals, but that's not so important. It is a team game, and if they can set up maybe somebody who's behind the striker, like you say, Semenyo, he's popped in a few already. Suddenly, Christie appears out of nowhere and scores a goal at the weekend. Yeah, why not? Anything is possible with this team. Yeah, and Andoni will set him up accordingly. If he has a problem with maybe injuries or one thing or another, he will change the formation. And he's brave enough to do it. And if it doesn't work, well, we know what he does. He'll change the setup in the second half and then go again. But the potential's there. I mean, we got, to be honest with you, with Gannon, Doak and Adley, we got pace there, haven't we, up front?
Yeah, we have.
Right,
yeah, so... and pace that isn't concerning either. It's not like, sometimes you have a bench player, right? And you bring that bench player on purposely for that reason, for just a bit of legs, for a bit of stamina, to create a problem on the back four, possibly. But we have more than that, don't we? We haven't really just got problem causers. We've got people that could bring on and impact a game.
Exactly. And fortunately for us, I mean, okay, you look ahead to maybe the next game, which I always do anyway. But those that are out injured, so Evan Nielsen, Brooksy, you know, you're looking at maximum. They said 3 weeks. So going back to last week, so 3 weeks. So maybe the next 2 games they're out and then they're back in again.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, we can just push on with the squad we got, and we have got depth in the squad this time round, fortunately. I can't see it being a big issue. Only if, we got to, those players that are actually playing and those that come on, those guys have to stay fit. Yeah, and not have too many injuries in one go like last season where, you know, they're dropping like flies. It's managing the minutes. Simple as that, managing the minutes. I mean, you made a really good point, actually, last night, Ollie, about the changes that Andoni made, the timing of them. They were later than what we're used to seeing.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't pick up on that until he actually mentioned it. And I thought, well, he's got a really good point there. Because normally, you know, you're looking at around about the hour mark.
And then he made one at 60.
That's right.
And then the other 3 at 75 and 76.
Yeah.
Which is odd. It's a real odd way for him to manage the final 25 minutes.
But could that be because, you know, Palace were in the ascendancy? They got the goal back?
Possibly. Yeah. I mean, I'd love to give you an answer to that because that would give me a minute.
That's why he's manager, isn't it?
But yeah.
You know, he'll see things that we don't see.
Yeah.
You know, and his trainer thought we can't read his mind, can we? So, but nevertheless, wow, I was still buzzing about that game. Really am.
Yeah, it was really, really good. Yeah, couldn't agree more, to be fair. What I wanted to ask, and I'm not sure if it was slightly off topic, so shut me down if it is, and it just brings us back to the VAR on Saturday's game against Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Now, I know that obviously everyone has their opinions on VAR sometimes and whether it's working, whether it's not working. From Saturday's game, I still just get this overriding feeling that it's in the way and it's kind of just overshadowing what could be a fantastic game with. And don't get me wrong, Saturday was a fantastic game. It had everything. But I just feel like there was moments where, you know, celebrations may have been delayed by 30 seconds to a minute to make sure that the VAR wasn't going to get called or the offside flag wasn't going to go up. And you could kind of tell that people were looking around and waiting for reactions. And, you know, and then the VAR shouts that were included. Marcus Senesi, yellow card.
Yep.
You know, I had to make sure I made my point last night with Sarr. You know, he didn't stay on his feet that much in the second half at all. So
yeah, I mean, looking back at that,
penalised and then it be brought to VAR, but then be penalised on that singular moment. So nothing leading up to that, nothing that Sarr did. Do you see what I mean? I don't fully agree with how VAR works at the moment.
Well, I get your point. They get too involved, is my personal opinion. I'm all for it. You know, with offsides, definitely, because it's a tough call for a linesman, even though he's 100% focused on his job. But you can't see like half a boot or whatever, the difference.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, so and with the automated offside that they have, that can be clarified quite quickly. So I don't see an issue with that. Now, going back to your comments about the Sarr incident. Now, as Sarr was running and Senesi came in, he didn't actually catch him as such.
Nope.
And you'll see his trailing leg actually caught the follow through of, you know, because he was jumping out of the way basically, and he must have felt something on his foot, and then he sort of stumbled. As you said, he was on 2 feet. He could have kept going.
He could have very easily.
Uh,
I understand momentum, but I've also
yeah,
played football for a long time myself.
yeah, and there was certainly no intention. It certainly wasn't clear and obvious.
No,
He was trying to take the player out. It's about going in for a tackle and timing it to perfection.
yep,
And it's very, very minimal, isn't it? That between contact and no contact, or even half a contact, whatever. If a striker feels something, most of the time they're going to go down.
yep.
That's the way they play football these days. Very few players actually say that was nothing. They can react very, very quickly, and they just keep going. But he was going away from goal. It wasn't as though he was going straight in. I really appreciate what Rich said last night. I understand all that and what could have possibly happened afterwards. It was really, he clarified it brilliantly. But for me, it was the right decision. I'm absolutely thrilled that a referee has got the nuts to actually stand by his call and actually overturn VAR's intervention. Obviously he was called to the screen, everything else, but he stuck by his decision and did the right thing. And that is something you see very, very seldom.
Yep.
So, kudos to the ref for that.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. Dan Short says, haven't we got any more strikers available? Suggests Jebbo. Teabag says we have history with Sean Dyche. Darren says, do we not have any strikers out on loan? Winterburn, Favroir and Jebba. Yes, we do. Yeah, so out on loan at the moment, Max Aarons, Daniel Jebberson, Lewis Sinistera, Alex Paulson, Ben Winterburn, and Romain Favroir. Any three of those could be called back at any time. So yeah, you're right. There are still options. Darren. He also says Cherry Slaps was great and was great to have opinions from both team supporters. That penalty was a shocker. When every single set piece the same happens, they need to be 100% consistent.
Yeah.
Sarr fell over too many times and should have had a booking for simulation. Yeah, 100% agree.
Yeah.
Senesi is an awesome player, but when caught on the back foot, does do some rash things. Handball on halfway line. Yeah. It's funny you say that, actually, because I wasn't going to describe it as a rash thing. His challenge on Sarr. That was almost as you've just said, Darren. It sums up Senesi for me. I feel like of course, it was a risky tackle. He knew it was last man. He also knew that it could have been a late challenge. If Sarr had pulled off to the right, he would have been nowhere near the football. So I think Senesi has almost done it to put a halt in the game of play at that moment in time, and just to stop, just to hold things up a minute. And that's why Senesi is such a good player. And you're right. Handball on the halfway line. I think there's two others that I remember as well, but we won't get into them. Chris Abel says, I enjoyed Cherry Slaps last night too, Darren. Yeah. It was a fantastic show last night and a really, really amazing game. I'm actually very excited for the Forest game. I can't lie. After the weekend and after yesterday's show, it's really
gives you a buzz, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's really highlighted being at the ground next week and what could be possible after seeing that 3-3. So yeah, super excited. Super excited. Anything to add, Mal, for now?
Yeah, I mean, did anybody see the game last night? Is a question.
West Ham Brentford?
Yeah.
No, I did not.
Wow. How it was only 2-0 is beyond me. And I've got to give a shout out to Dango. Had a really good game. But Brentford, they could have literally annihilated West Ham, and they're in all sorts of trouble at the moment.
That's 17 shots to 7 for Brentford and West Ham. 6 on target for Brentford, 1 for West Ham. It
was that first half. They just couldn't get out of their half. West Ham, they were penned in, and like I said, I don't know how it was only 2-0 at the end. But considering, what Brentford have been through with losing players, manager.
Yeah.
Solid performance, really solid performance. Yes, you have to go out there and do the job. And although West Ham were really poor, which is, sad for them, sad for their fans. You expected more. New manager coming in. It goes back to the same old. Forest as well. Is there something around the club that's not, ticking? I don't know. It's going to be really, really interesting. Obviously, I think West Ham they're at Leeds at the weekend, so things not going to get any easier for them.
No, no. And just looking at that table now, I mean, it's dire straits, isn't it, for Wolves and West Ham? I mean, even a win for them at this stage wouldn't take them out of the relegation zone. That's how bad we are. 8 games in, is that 3 points can't take you out of the bottom 3 spots.
We didn't see this. We didn't see this coming, did we?
Oh no, we didn't. No, especially not for. Well, in my opinion, especially not for West Ham.
Yeah.
I knew that Forest. We had this conversation, didn't we? That Forest were going to have some issues.
Yeah.
Because of managerial changes, arguments between senior leadership and whatnot. We knew that Wolves were going to have a bit of an issue. We said that as well in the top tier list show. But West Ham were never there for us, which is an interesting one.
Yeah.
I mean, Burnley slightly escaping the relegation zone at the minute, but still only on 7 points, and then 8 Leeds and Fulham just above that with 8. And believe it or not, Brentford, Everton, Villa, and Brighton are now all but above Newcastle. So
it's crazy.
Very, very strange table at the moment as it lays. Very strange.
But it's what we want, isn't it?
100%. Yeah. And from our perspective, it's exactly what we want. This is, if there's anything that's been closer to the league where Leicester won, and that start of that league, which I know we keep bringing up, and we might not be the Leicester, but just watching that league itself was fantastic. Watching that season, the turbulences, the ups and downs for the top 6, it was fantastic. It was a brilliant season. So I mean, if we can replicate even just a little bit of that, I'd be super happy.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we've raised the bar slightly again this season.
Yep.
Not leaps and bounds, but step by step, and see where we go from here.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we'd love to see a 3-pointer on Sunday. That would keep us at minimum 4th place anyway. But the table, it's nice to look at. Let's look at it in April, see where we are then. But keep the momentum going, get the points on the board. Who knows?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Darren brings it back to Senesi. Says he definitely did it for the yellow and took one for the team. But big risk to do these things for risk for red. Yeah, absolutely. Especially as last man, close to the box. I think we were at this stage, we were 2-0 up. So it wasn't necessarily needed entirely to risk for a red. But so I've got him on the pitch, right? And I think we continue to say that he gets better and better. And I think before the season started, Malcolm, he was our one to watch, right? He was our player that had come into his own and had deserved his starting spot for this season. And now is his time to shine, so.
Just so unlucky last season that Dino was so brilliant.
Yeah.
That he was kept out of the team. But he's had a brilliant start. Really has. Awesome. And to have the other new players around him as well, that back line, it doesn't matter what the lineup is in the back 4. Doesn't bother me one iota. They do the job. They understand each other, and they're playing the way that Andoni wants them to play, the way they're coached. Yeah, just continue in the same vein, really.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Darren Hurst also says Brentford is similar to Palace, Sunderland. All play exciting football to watch and take the game to the opposition.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I'm really, really excited to play Sunderland.
That's really going to be an awesome game, isn't it?
That's going to be another fantastic game between two what are looking to be heroic sides this season. I mean, Sunderland don't get me wrong, they don't look fantastic, and you can see some of their issues on the pitch, but my God, it was completely unexpected again, and I know that we expected it almost. We discussed it in the top tier list show and what we thought would happen with Sunderland, but I didn't think it'd be to this excess, this level.
No.
And they're just and they're exciting to watch. Similar to the Palaces, similar to the Bournemouths at the moment. They're consistently pressing. They're not sitting back and defending.
There's a different style of football now, isn't there?
Yeah, there is.
I think if you everybody can't see every game, but when you put the TV on or whatever, it's always about the same top six, the so-called big clubs, and which is great for teams like us, Palace, Sunderland, because they're not watching us, they're not promoting us in that sense.
Yep.
It's always the big six, no matter what. If they're playing badly, they make a big story about it. So we just continue doing our thing, playing our football, our styles, and it is a breath of fresh air to see football played slightly differently. Yeah. And these teams, the top six especially, they're going to have tough fixtures this season.
Yep.
They will always talk about the Manchester-Liverpool games or Manchester derbies or whatever. Throw Arsenal in the mix as well. But when those teams come up against the likes of Palace, Brentford, Bournemouth, they're going to have to work their socks off to get a result. And
yes. Yeah, and I think that's almost daunting for the bigger clubs nowadays. I think whereas before they would come into some of these games and think, oh, this is an easier game of the season, or we can relax our better players here, and there was a bit more squad rotation for some of these easier games, but you don't get them. As you said, there's only a couple of games in the Premier League now where you can kind of go to and understand what's going to happen. And at the moment, it's the likes of Wolves or West Ham or, maybe Burnley, Leeds, Forest. But you're right, with Everton's, Palace, Sunderland, Newcastle. You never think about 5 years ago, we didn't have any of these threats in the Premier League.
I mean, Darren's just brought up a point. I was going to actually say this: this fear factor of having to play teams like Bournemouth. The big six. They'll look over their shoulders and say, "Oh, crikey, so we're going to have to be careful here." Whereas an average fan they say, "Oh, that's a 3-pointer for us."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think this is a good point. However, yes and no. It's great to have Bournemouth feared and revered, but the downside is that the players will be tempted on moves. Kerkez, Zabs, Dino, Dango, for example. Who else? Yes and no. I think last season wasn't this season, Daz. The feeling wasn't there, the buzz wasn't there, the success story behind it, the drive, being halfway into our 5-year plan. I think it's all built up to this point. And I think if players looking at Bournemouth moving forward compare themselves to Kerkez's and Dango's, not necessarily Zabs and Dino, because Zabs and Dino have gone to international European-sized clubs, and they've been performing. They've done fantastic. It's not quite been the same for Kerkez and Dango. Obviously, Kerkez has gone to Liverpool, Premier League winners, but hasn't been performing. Has looked a bit out of place, and maybe the move wasn't correct for him. So it's almost like we're building this picture of, yes, Bournemouth's the place to be. Bournemouth's feared. Come to Bournemouth for your stepping stone. But bear in mind, if you leave Bournemouth too quickly, it's not going to go too well. So it's like, we're a development team. You come here for a plan, you undergo your plan. If there's anything outside of that plan, it doesn't really work. And I think that's what you've seen here with the likes of Kerkez and Dango, it not really working too well because of maybe a rush sale or because of maybe being picked out by the big boys too early in the Premier League. But Zabs and Dino spent just enough time, impressed just the right people and got picked up, So I think it can happen either way.
Yeah, and they've been put straight into their teams, haven't they, Southampton? So there was no concerns.
Yeah.
Okay, Kirk has had loads of minutes already this season. I think he's only had one sort of decent game. What I would class as a decent game for Liverpool.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say he looks out of place, but it's Liverpool don't play the Bournemouth way. And that is it. Totally different style. What he was expected to do, at Bournemouth, he can't do at Liverpool. Who let the dogs out?
Yeah, the cats and the dog are outside making noise. You can hear them from the office window.
How did I know that?
I know, you could tell, couldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, completely agree with those words there. Darren also says here, Senesi, not sure what that says, Darren. Senesi vision and placed pass has been eye-catching and creates any possibilities.
Yeah, Senesi's vision
and placed passes. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And he also says, totally agree and I trust the process completely, Ollie, but thought it was an interesting objective perspective. Absolutely. Yeah. Completely agree. Something I'd not actually considered either, really, Daz. So I appreciate you bringing it up. It's an interesting thought process. Especially moving forward. It'll be interesting to see how Bournemouth as a club or how our recruitment department takes some of these things on the chin moving forward. Do we almost push ourselves into an upper echelon, and do we go, right, in actual fact, we're not going to sell these players, Do we start to turn the tide a little bit and become a bit more of a stable club in regards to buying and selling? Everyone says that we're a selling club. Does that kind of thing change in football? Do clubs able to get themselves to such financial stability that they don't have to be a buying and selling club anymore? What's going to happen in the next 2 years? It's interesting.
I would like to see, to be very honest with you, that last transfer window, no matter which team you support, as a big picture, that last transfer window for me was absolutely bananas. Players going for absolutely ridiculous amounts of money and totally underperforming. Not everyone, obviously, but some of the big moves have been absolutely shocking. Why have they bought players in? I'm not going to name clubs. There's no point. But very disappointing that some of them they've been asking for transfers, wanting big moves, and it just hasn't happened. Now, is that down to the player maybe being, with his agent and being a bit greedy, without maybe a bit more forethought going forward? Because obviously, I mean, if you look at the Kirkus situation, that went back weeks, didn't it? Before the end of the season, it was just an ongoing story that never seemed to end. The grass isn't always greener. It's a phrase they often use, and it's very valid. I think Bournemouth will have the players that they bought in. All right, so they got unknowns, totally unknowns. The players bought in from clubs throughout Europe or wherever just to do a job, and they fit the system. They've ticked all the boxes. The recruitment have said, these are the guys we need to have in. They get sanctioned, bring them in, they perform. And it steadies the ship. We've got no concerns. When we got 11 players go out on that pitch, we know what's going to happen.
Yep.
That they're going to perform, they're going to give their all, no matter what. You never know how a game's going to pan out, but you got the trust in the team to go out and perform. Now, take that over multitude of games, obviously with cameras and everything and press, they're going to be watching these and saying, oh, we've got to snap him up, But things don't work that way. And I think internally in the club, they can actually look to keep these players now. over a longer period, not just a one season. We're talking about 2 to maybe 3. And when you see the likes of, come on, pick a name, Clivert, he wants to stay at the club. He had the opportunity maybe to go somewhere else, but he's happy enough to be at that club. He sees what the project is, what the plan is, and the other players buy into this as well. So the vision is there. They know what they're about. And if this vision continues, like we said, the 5-year plan thing, they want to be part of it. So no matter who comes in for whatever player, I think they'll just have the door closed on them. Yep. Bournemouth will say thanks, but no thanks.
Yep, love it, Mel. Love the sum up. I think it's very accurate. And then just touching on, Darren says, I would love every single current player to remain in the journey for the next 3 years.
Absolutely.
Build a team to be remembered like the great Ferguson's team of yesteryear.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Chris says, let's hope that Bournemouth win at home against Forest on Sunday. Absolutely. Yeah. And Darren says 100% Chris, bring on the Forest. We are the chainsaw. Absolutely, we are. And look, we're going to close off for today. As always, go on, Mal.
Right, a couple of things. No Cherry AM tomorrow.
Yep.
Ollie and I will be back on Thursday morning.
Correct.
We'll probably do something about Forest.
We will indeed.
With our maybe predictions, lineups, whatever. And also coming out this week, cherry pickings.
Yes.
I think maybe Thursday is going to be put up, is it?
Yeah, I think we're filming it Thursday night. Might be out Friday morning.
Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday. Oh, it'll be out Thursday.
Yeah, I think we're doing it on Wednesday evening and it'll be out Thursday. Yeah, I think that's the plan.
Okie dokie.
So stay tuned. Obviously, for those that don't know, hit the like, subscribe, bell button, everything. Do the business. Yeah. Great having the time with you again, Ollie.
Yep, as always, Mel. Appreciate you coming on board this morning. And as you've quite rightly just stated, see everyone on Thursday morning for a Nottingham Forest update and rundown, as usual, for our Thursdays. Ready for our even more exciting weekend this weekend. So,
well, I think we'll dive a bit more into that on Thursday.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thanks everybody in the chat for joining us, especially the guys down under. Great to have you here as always. Have a good Tuesday.
Yeah, thank you as always. Yeah, and see you again on Thursday. Up the cherries.
Up the cherries.
TalkSport Fan Network.
The ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the TalkSport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search TalkSport Fan Network.
I should be like you, Mel.